to work through the cost of goods sold budget. To determine our cost of goods sold budget, first we have to start with the fact that we have to determine our projected manufacturing cost per bat. So at this point, we are laying in the cost associated with one unit, so one bat. All of the information we're told is in our data table. So we know that each bat requires 0.25 hours of direct labor and that we paid $20 an hour. It's also indicating in here how much direct material is used per unit. So this is the information where you're pulling to determine your projected manufacturing cost. So our direct materials cost per bat, we're going to lay that in for each of the youth and the adult. For our direct labor cost, we know that it was 0.25 hours to manufacture one unit at $20 an hour. So I'm going to take my 0.25 and I'm going to multiply it by my $20 per hour, and that's going to give me my direct labor cost per bat. I am then going to take the manufacturing overhead cost per bat and do the same thing, and that is going to give you your total projected manufacturing cost. So once we have these two numbers, we can continue on, and the first step here is to determine our beginning inventory. So our beginning inventory is given to us right in our data table. It is going to tell us that our finished goods inventory on December 31st consists of 500 youth bats at 15 and 750 adult bats at 18. Remember, my ending inventory for 1 month is my beginning inventory for the next. So this was December 31st, so these would be my beginning inventory numbers for this quarter. So I'm just going to multiply my 500 youth bats times the $15, and that's going to give me that $7,500 right here for the beginning inventory. And then I'm going to do the same thing with my adult bats. I had 750 adult bats at $18. So I'm just going to multiply that out, and I'm going to get a total of $21,000. Now my bats sold and produced in first quarter. We have to pull these numbers from a couple different places. So we're going to start with our bats, and sometimes it might help if you do this in a table format with youth bats and adult bats down the left side and across the top bats sold in first quarter. And to determine our bats sold in first quarter, we're just going to pull up our sales budget, okay, because that's going to indicate what we're going to sell, and hopefully that's what we sold. So we estimated 2,000 bats to be sold and 3,500 for adult bats. So that is where I'm going to start. So I'm going to put that in, and then I'm going to subtract my bats in beginning inventory. Again, that was just back here on my data table. Again, the 500 youth bats and the 750. Again, I will take my bats sold in first quarter, so the 2,000 youth bats and the 3,500 adult bats, and I'm going to subtract that beginning inventory number from my data table. So again, it's the 500 and the 750. So for my youth bats, I'm going to take that 2,000 from my sales budget and subtract the 500 bats that were in my beginning inventory. And then I'm going to take my 3,500 bats from my sales budget and subtract the 750 in the ending, or I'm sorry, in the beginning inventory. So then, for example, then for my youth bats, if I subtract the 2,000 and the 500, I get 1,500. So my bats produced and sold in first quarter are going to be that 1,500 bats, and I'm going to multiply it by my projected manufacturing cost of $16. Okay. So again, I'm going to take my youth bats, I'm going to take that 2,000 from my sales budget. I'm going to subtract the 500 that were in the beginning inventory. It's going to give me 1,500 bats. I'm then going to multiply that by the $16 that we've calculated above. That is going to give me the 24,000. You will do the same thing for your adult bats. You will take your sales budget number of the 3,500, then subtract the youth bats, the 750, and then multiply that by the $19. And that will give you the 52,250. I hope this helps clear up the cost of goods sold budget. If you have any more questions, let me know.